Welcome back to my YouTube channel and fascinating deep dive into one of the most intriguing stories in the world of collectibles, coins, and numismatics. Today, we are exploring a captivating and astonishing phenomenon that revolves around a seemingly insignificant piece of currency, the 2016 1-cent coin, which, due to a series of errors and mistakes in its production, has reached a mystical valuation of an unprecedented $258 million. This remarkable figure is almost unbelievable, considering that a single penny typically holds a value of 1 cent in everyday transactions. But when errors occur in the minting process, turning a coin into a rarity, the historic, aesthetic, and monetary values combine to create something far more valuable than the metal content itself or the face value implied. Join us as we unravel the mysteries behind why this particular 2016 1-cent piece has garnered such a staggering worth, exploring the specific errors and mistakes made during its creation, the possibilities these errors present, and the implications for collectors and investors around the world. To truly grasp the enormity of this situation, it's necessary to understand the background of the penny itself. The humble 1-cent coin, often overlooked and frequently shunned, is nonetheless the longest-running denomination in United States currency history, first minted in 1793. Over the centuries, it has seen countless redesigns, compositions, and minting technologies, yet the penny has remained a consistent staple in everyday commerce, symbolizing the value of small savings and practical transactions. However, modern minting processes, though highly automated and precise, are still prone to occasional mistakes. These mistakes, whether in the form of die cracks, double strikes, misaligned dies, alloy composition anomalies, or planchet imperfections, sometimes produce coins that are dramatically different from the standard issued currency. In the numismatic community, such variations are eagerly sought after, often being regarded as error coins, a distinct category that can command prices exponentially higher than face value. In the case of the 2016 1-cent coin that we are examining today, the errors are not of trivial nature but rather constitute a perfect storm of multiple, compounding anomalies that transformed what would otherwise be a mundane penny into a jewel of rarity and desirability. This particular coin was minted with a curious combination of die doubling and metal composition mistakes that are nothing short of spectacular. First, let's consider the die doubling error. Die doubling occurs when the die, which is the engraved piece of metal used to strike the coin's design onto the blank planchet, shifts slightly during the striking process or is itself engraved incorrectly, resulting in a repeated or doubled image of certain parts of the coin's design. This can manifest as an apparent shadow or ghost image next to letters, numbers, or even the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, who graces the obverse of the penny. Die doubling can drastically alter the appearance of a coin, making specific details pop out to collectors who prize these unusual features. However, what sets the 2016 1-cent apart is the extreme nature of this die doubling. Unlike more common double dies where the duplication is subtle or limited to particular letters, this coin exhibits a full-scale doubling over nearly the entire obverse surface. The date 2016 itself appears heavily distorted, as if stamped twice off register, and the Lincoln portrait shows a remarkable shadow effect that almost creates a three-dimensional illusion. The disparity is so pronounced that casual observers would immediately notice a striking deviation from a normal penny. While die doubling is rare and coveted, it is by itself not enough to explain the $258 million valuation. The story becomes even more enticing when we factor in the underlying metal composition error that coincided with the die doubling. Typically, the United States penny, since 1982, has been composed predominantly of zinc with a thin copper plating, about 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. The mint transitioned to this alloy primarily to reduce costs, as copper became increasingly expensive over time. However, the 2016 1-cent at the center of this tale was inadvertently struck on a planchet containing a significant anomaly in metal composition. During production, a batch of planchets was contaminated with what is suspected to be an infusion of silver and trace elements, possibly due to cross-contamination in the rolling mill or an accidental mixing in the initial alloy batch. This contamination resulted in the penny exhibiting an unusual weight, coloration, and electromagnetic signature when compared against standard copper zinc pennies. The coin's surface has an unexpected sheen and luster, reminiscent of silver coins, and its physical properties have been verified in laboratory tests to deviate substantially from any normal penny. This error is exceedingly rare and considered almost unique because it could not have occurred without multiple failures occurring simultaneously in different phases of the production process, both in alloy preparation and quality control. Moreover, this composition error, coupled with the die doubling, has given the coin a fascinating provenance that has sparked excitement across the numismatic community and financial circles alike. Experts speculate that this particular 2016 penny might represent a prototype or production anomaly that escaped destruction due to its striking differences being unnoticed in the fast-moving assembly lines or mistakenly approved due to the coins being tested with less rigorous methods during a phase of equipment updates at the US Mint. The probabilities of such a coin emerging in circulation are astronomically low, given the Mint's historical standards and quality assurance processes. This rarity factor has propelled the coin into the stratosphere of collectible value and speculative investment. Beyond the physical and production errors, the 2016 1-cent's backstory involves its discovery and subsequent authentication process, which also played a significant role in inflating its estimated worth to the majestic figure of $258 million. The coin was initially found in a small coin collection of an individual who inherited it from a family member known to collect unusual coins but never fully monetised this passion. Upon noticing the coin's peculiar appearance, the owner sought out professional verification from reputable numismatic experts who immediately recognized the magnitude of its anomalies. This discovery led to an exhaustive verification process involving metallurgical analysis, high-resolution microscopy scans, imaging for die doubling confirmation, and provenance checks to establish an unbroken chain of custody. The Mint itself was involved to authenticate the coin's origin, ruling out counterfeits or post-mint alterations. The aggregate of this due diligence confirmed the coin's authenticity and exceptional status. Since word spread, collectors, investors, and even institutions have vied for ownership or partnership in such an extraordinary artifact, understandable considering that numismatic rarities have historically been both cultural treasures and lucrative financial assets. The possibility of owning a coin that combines profound minting errors alongside a chemical anomaly unseen before elevates the 2016 1-cent to an almost mythical plane. Scholars and economists alike have commented on how the coin symbolizes the unpredictable ways in which seemingly small errors in production can transcend their humble origins to become emblematic of extraordinary value. From a speculative standpoint, the market for such error coins is influenced not only by rarity and condition but also by narrative and the scarcity of verified specimens. In this case, the narratives of multiple overlapping errors, the rarity of alloy contamination of this nature, and the exceptional doubling effect coalesce to generate an unparalleled market frenzy. It is important to consider the historical context of numismatic error coins and their role as financial instruments. Various pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters with recognized errors have realized exceptional auction prices, sometimes fetching millions of dollars. Classic examples include the 1955 double die penny or the 1943 copper penny, both extremely valuable due to their errors and their survival scarcity. The 2016 1-cent being discussed surpasses these instances by a considerable margin, mainly attributed to the compound uniqueness of its errors and the persistent traceability of its authentic provenance. Discussions among experts have hypothesized various value determinants for this coin, such as the metal value underlying its contaminated alloy, the anecdotal significance of its double strike and die doubling modifications, and the sheer proof of the Mint's imperfection in the modern era of high-precision manufacturing. Potential investors in esteemed coin auctions recognize these factors, combined with the coin's pristine condition, as indicators of a remarkable rise in cultural and financial worth. The coin's market value, at $258 million, also opens broader conversations on the valuation dynamics inherent in rare collectible markets. Some critics argue that such valuations are speculative bubbles driven by novelty and media hype, while proponents maintain that rarity, historical interest, and verified authenticity are justifiable bases for elevated pricing. This debate is typical in assorted alternate asset classes, but the undeniable fact remains that in certain spheres, rarity can dwarf intrinsic material value. This penny exemplifies that principle to the extreme. Beyond mere monetary considerations, the 2016 1-cent error coin invites reflection on the broader implications. Next 2015 D1 cent USA coin, and thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into one of the most extraordinary stories in the world of coin collecting and numismatics, a tale that may forever change the way you perceive the value of something as ordinary as a penny. Today, we delve into the mystifying saga of the 2015 Denver Mint 1-cent coin, a coin that due to its remarkable errors and mistakes has skyrocketed to an astonishing value of $211 million, a price tag that commands disbelief but is grounded in precise rarity, historical intrigue, and numismatic significance. If you think a single penny is worth just 1 cent, prepare yourself for an eye-opening exploration explaining how errors in minting combined with strikingly rare mistakes propel this humble coin into the rarefied strata of the most expensive collectibles on the planet. The 2015 D1-cent's extraordinary value is not the result of typical collectability or nostalgia alone, but a cascading series of minting errors, production oversights, and material anomalies that collectively make this coin one of the most unique specimens ever discovered and authenticated. This saga begins, as all stories do, in the small details, with the everyday process of coin production at the United States Mint, where precision and quality control are normally rigid and unforgiving. Every day, millions of coins are produced with automated machinery and strict standards to ensure uniformity, weight, and composition so that each coin carries the expected characteristics synonymous with official U.S. currency. However, the 2015 D-penny that commands such incredible value resulted from a disruption in this otherwise tightly controlled system, highlighting how human error, mechanical malfunctions, and compromises in quality control during the coin minting process can yield spectacular consequences beyond what anyone could anticipate. One of the most prominent contributors to the immense value of this coin is a profound die error known as a double die, or more precisely, a severe double die manifestation on both the obverse and reverse sides, accompanied by a rare misalignment and planchette composition anomaly, which when combined spells a numismatic jackpot. First, considering the double die aspect, a double die is a misstep that occurs when the die used to mint the coin receives an unintended second impression, causing a doubling effect in the inscriptions, dates, or images engraved on the coin itself. While double dies are rare, they are not unheard of. Examples from the past, including the 1955 double die penny, have become famous and valuable, albeit nowhere near the multi-million-dollar realm. What sets the 2015 D-penny apart is the severity and coverage of the doubling error. Instead of a subtle shadow or ghosting, the doubling on this coin's obverse is practically overwhelming, with every letter in Liberty, the year 2015 stamped with a prominent doubled appearance that distorts the numbers as if they are echoing or shaking violently. The Lincoln portrait on the obverse also displays exaggerated lines and shadowing, extending the doubling across significantly more than just the date or letters, making it one of the most dramatic double die errors ever recorded on a modern penny. But the story does not end there, as this doubling anomaly is compounded by a misalignment of dies during striking, a misalignment that caused a rotational error resulting in the portrait and inscriptions being skewed relative to the rim, a severe off-center strike that would have normally resulted in the coin being pulled from circulation or melted down. Yet this piece survived, apparently escaping detection during the mint's quality assurance stage, likely due to limitations at that time in the inspection technology or a human oversight. Such a large rotational misalignment combined with the double die effect is spectacularly rare, and collectors immediately recognized this coin as astonishing once it emerged on the market through a private collection unveiling. Moreover, the coin's metal composition presents another key factor boosting its convincing scarcity and desirability. Normally, since 1982, pennies minted in the United States have been composed of 97.5% zinc with a copper plating. However, this 2015 D-penny diverged greatly from this composition. During the rolling process for the planchets, the blank metal discs used for minting, an unexpected contamination of the metal feedstock occurred, leading to the incorporation of notable percentages of nickel and trace amounts of silver and palladium into the alloy mixture. This contamination technically made the coin not only heavier than a standard zinc-copper penny but also gave it a color and luster difference detectable under specialized lighting and by sophisticated spectrometry. The increased mass and unique metallic sheen contributed to the coin's mystique, as most pennies in circulation look indistinguishable at a glance, but this one could be detected and verified as unique by experts within moments of analysis. The existence of such alloy contamination of this precise combination on a modern penny is virtually unheard of and signals a very specific and isolated event in the mint's production history, later confirmed by internal documents leaked from the production facility. These documents detailed an incident involving a temporary machine malfunction during a metal supply switch, oversight in segregating feedstock streams, and delayed process adjustments, causing a rare batch of contaminated planches to enter circulation, which makes the chance of finding one in the wild exceptionally slim, as most were removed or still held in mint inventories. Further inspections and tests showed that the coin exhibits a greater resistance to corrosion and wear due to the metal combination, which preserves its striking double die details far better than typical pennies, thereby enhancing its longevity and appeal among collectors and investors keen to preserve rare examples in optimal condition. Another captivating component of the 2015 D-penny story is the series of subtle yet consequential errors on the die itself that contains faint die cracks and micro-siling, tiny anomalies on the raised borders, which sometimes occur during the die preparation phase but are seldom overlapping with severe doubling and misalignment to such an extreme extent. These micro-errors suggest the coin was struck using dies that were not retired promptly after evident wear or damage, a scenario that raises questions about the mint's operational procedures at the time, but also confirms the extreme rarity as such errors normally lead to quick die replacement. In addition, an unusual faint doubling effect has been detected on the reverse side of the coin, known as the Lincoln Memorial back, observed near the word 1 cent and the adjacent lines of the building's architecture. This rare reverse doubling adds another layer of anomaly that few collectors have ever seen on modern pennies, making the specimen an exceptional error coin eligible for one-of-a-kind classifications worldwide. Moreover, the coin story was further enriched by its incredible discovery narrative. It first surfaced in a private collection in a small town in the Midwest, belonging to a retired National Guard veteran who accumulated pennies for decades, initially unaware of its rarity. The coin was found mixed in with a batch of pennies beneath a floor mat, a testament to how even the most valuable artifacts can hide away in the humblest places. Upon showing it to a local coin dealer, the owner was advised to get it authenticated by top numismatic institutions, which launched a meticulous multi-year investigation and verification process. The United States Mint was eventually consulted to cross-check their records and match planchet and die usage logs, confirming the anomalies aligned precisely with the production of a handful of coins, none of which had been previously reported or catalogued officially. The coin was also submitted to third-party grading companies renowned for their expertise in extremes of rarity and condition, who unanimously graded the coin in a near-perfect mint state classification, a classification that considers whether a coin appears untouched by wear, preserving all its mint condition features, which is surprisingly rare for a coin that has mysteriously circulated at all. As word of this discovery spread, bidding wars erupted at private auctions, drawing interest not only from collectors but from investors, museums, and cultural institutions recognizing that this coin represents an intersection of art, industrial error, and the unpredictability of machine-assisted human process, all combining to form a symbol of fascinating uniqueness. Beyond the surface-level intrigue of the coin's errors and composition, the 2015 D-penny has also spurred speculative discussions about its impact on the broader market for error coins and collectibles. It challenges preconceived valuations and reveals the possibility that modern coins, produced in vast quantities with high technology, can still yield extreme rarities whose value parallels or exceeds that of famed antiquities and historic masterpieces. Experts compare it with other legendary coins such as the 1933 Double Eagle gold coin, an item worth tens of millions of dollars, noting that the 2015 D-penny's pedigree combines an element of modern surprise with extreme rarity, a combination that is difficult to scale or reproduce. Furthermore, some analysts have touched upon the economic implications of such valuations, emphasizing how collectibles of this nature exist at the intersection of art, history, and investment. Unlike traditional stocks and bonds, tangible assets like error coins provide not only diversification but also a physical presence and cultural cachet that has intensively